Hi, my name is Luc Hamers. I'm the manager of an embedded software and electronics development team, and in my spare time I like to program a little bit with PHP. In this video I am going to show you Git rebasing and especially interactive rebase. How does it work, what does it do, and when to use it. If you would like to code along, I've prepared a small example on a GitLab. So let's get to it, and you can also clone this project to code along. So first of all, I will clone this project, and let's go into that. Then I will open up Git K to show you what this is. But before I do that, I will have to do two small steps to prepare that. First of all, we will have to create the local branch for our feature. So I will check out our feature branch. And the second thing, what I'm going to do, and this is something you would never do in a normal project, is that I'm going to get rid of the remotes. Because for what I'm going to explain, that would clutter up the view a little bit. So let's also do that. So git remote remove, and that will be the origin. So let's see, refresh this by pressing F5. So this will be our example here. Let's have a look at that. As you can see, we have implemented features 1 to 5 and also have some commits for tests. Then we branched off a new branch called feature 6 to implement feature 6. And while we were doing this we fixed, or someone fixed, a bug in our main line in feature number 3. And as it happens, we also did that during our feature development in this branch. So this will probably give us a little problem while doing that. So let's have a look at what there is in the repository. So we have two files here. Let's have a brief look at that. So make it a little bit bigger. So both files are more or less the same. We have just a little bit of random text where the features are written into this. So feature 1, feature 2 up until feature 6. And for the test, this is more or less the same. So that's what we are going to work with. Our mission, should we decide to take that, is to clean up this mess we had in the feature branch and create two clean commits, one for the implementation and one for the tests. And I'm going to show you 3 different ways of doing that. And to be able to do that, I will make a copy of this one where we will do our work. So I will copy the git rebase directory, and let's call this very originally temp, and we have to do it recursively. So let's get into the temp directory, and I will start a new git k view because we have to view this in the temp directory, of course. Okay. So first thing we are going to do here is we branched off from our tests for 4 and 5, and then we fixed the bug. And what we would like to do is branch off from this one. So get this bug fix into our branch. And a clean way to do so is with rebase. So we are now in our feature 6 branch. So I can say git rebase, and I want to rebase from the main branch. So git rebase main, and let's see what happens. As I already thought, this makes a little bit of a problem because we have in this implementation a change we did in the main branch, and we probably did the same position in the text file also in our feature branch. So let's have a look at that. So what Git says is in our main branch we have this change, and in our feature branch we have this change. Okay, Now we have to tell Git what we want, so let's take the implementation from the main branch. Save, quit, and now we will have to tell Git that we fix this, so we have to add the current version of this file. And now we can tell Git to continue rebasing. Okay, so that worked. Let's have a look by refreshing our Git K view with F5. And this already shows you what happened. So a little bit of information. These are the commits we had before. So these are the old one. This is our branch as it was before the rebasing. That's our bug fix commits. That's also not changed. But now we can see what rebase actually does. It takes this commit and creates it, recreates it. It does it new. It creates a new commit with the same content as you can see here. The only thing that changes is the hash. So we have a brand new commit which is applied to this one, but it has the identical content as before. So as this one. And it did that with all of these commits, except for this one. As you can see, this one is missing. It should be before finalize feature 6, but it's not. And that's what we had with this, the fix of our conflict. We told Git take this implementation of that. So that one is just ignored. It's omitted. It's not in there. So this is our status where we're working on now. And as you can see, this is also the reason why you should never do a rebase on a branch where other people are working on. Let's imagine your colleague has this as his final or as his last pull, and then he started to create some more commits based on that, and then you did a rebase and pushed that to the server. What happens when he does a pull? Well, he cannot obviously merge this because we are already there and the server is already there. And same thing when doing push, so this will not work. So this is a very important thing to keep in mind when you're doing rebasing. Do it on a branch where you are the only one working on. Otherwise, this will create some chaos. There are ways to fix that, but it is still a bit difficult. So let's do a refresh with Shift F5. So we have a clean view here. And this is quite nice. This is what we wanted to have. So this is the last commit from our on our main branch. And now it looks as if we branched off from that one. Nice. So let's have a little look inside of our feature branch. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 commits on the implementation, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4 commits on the tests. So we're going to clean that up a little bit. The first thing we want to do is move this commit down here so that we have 4 commits on the feature. So let's see how we do that. We will use git rebase for that. So git rebase, and now in the interactive mode, and now we have to tell Git how far to go back in history. So let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 would actually be enough, but for the sake of this exercise, 6, 7, 8, 9, let's go 9 steps back in history. Now Git opens a typical view of this Git rebasing. What you see here is this is the oldest commit. It's that one. This is the newest commit. It's that one. Oh, that one. And we can do all sorts of things. The default action to do is pick. So what Git does is it will start with the top of the list, take that commit, picks it, so it will apply that again to the state we were before. And it's going to do this with all of them, all of these commits. But we can change this. We have a little help down here. We have several commands. We can do a reordering of those commits. We can edit them. We can merge them together and all sorts of stuff. And we're going to do some of those in the next steps to come. But we'll be doing that in small steps so you can understand a little bit better what is going on. So what we are going to do is we are going to pick this commit and we will move it after this one. So then we will have 4 implementation commits, one after the other. So let's cut this by using the keyboard with DD to cut it out. And then we will move here and then we will paste it below that. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4 commits on the implementation and 1, 2, 3, 4 commits on the tests. So let's see what happens. Do a reload here. And as you can see, it recreated some commits, but not all of them. It recognized that commits 1, 2, 3 of our feature branch weren't touched at all, so it kept those. And then it took our feature 6 implementation commit and it recreated that on top of this one. So content-wise, this is identical, and as you can see, it just has a new commit ID. So this is a brand new commit with the same content. And it did also the same thing for the test commits. So for the 1, 2, 3, 4, those are now 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's now where we are. Okay, let's do the next step. We will now want to merge 1, 2, 3, 4 test commits into one brand new commit for the test. So we will do a git rebase interactive again. And how far do we want to go back in history? Well, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's take 5 so we see where we come from. So get 5 steps back in history. Okay, this is again the oldest one. We're not going to touch that. And then we have 4 commits we want to put together to one new commit. And we have 2 ways of doing this. We can use squash or we can use fixup. Both do exactly the same except for one minor detail. Fixup will just take the commit message of the top commit, while squash gives you an editor and gives you the opportunity to change the commit messages. We're going to do both in the next 2 steps, but we will start with fixup. So let's go into the editor, into the edit mode and say fixup, and again fixup. So we will merge these 3 commits into that one, and we will keep that commit message. So let's see what happens and refresh again. Okay, so this is the commit we haven't changed. This is a new commit. This has the content of 1, 2, 3, 4 test commits, and we created just one new commit. Nice. So let's do the same thing with the implementation. Now counting is a bit more difficult. How far do we want to go back in history? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's do 6 just to see where we're coming from. So let's do a git rebase interactive again. Okay, so this is the commit we are not going to touch. It's the oldest one. This is the commit we created in the last step. And these 4 commits are the ones we are going to merge now. Okay, let's use squash for that. So squash, squash, squash. And we're going to squash that into that commit. So let's see what happens. And that's different to fixup. It now gives us a possibility to edit the commit messages or commit message for our new commit. And it gives us the 4 commit messages we already have. So we can remove them or we can edit them or we can do whatever we want. So let's keep this and change this a little bit. So we implemented feature 6. Okay. So let's reload. Okay. So this is the new commit we just created, and content-wise, it is the same as 1, 2, 3, 4 commits. And then it took the commit we created in the step before and applied it again. So it made a new commit, same content, just new commit ID. Nice. So let's refresh by pressing Shift F5. And this looks quite nice. We have now two commits, one for the feature, one for the tests in our feature branch. So last things to do is we will merge this into our main branch. So let's check out main. As you can see here, this is now the yellow bubble. This is where our pointer is pointing to. And since we have a linear history here, so a direct line, when we want to merge this, it will just move the pointer of main to here. This is called a fast forward merge. And we could do it in two ways. We could use merge or we can use rebase. And in this case, since we have this linear history, both do exactly the same. So let's do a merge here. So merge feature 6. And if we look what it did, it just moved the pointer here. So, and last step, we will delete the branch since we have merged that. So git branch delete and well, the feature 6 branch. And now, nice, we have a very clean history and removed all the chaos we had there. And this looks really nice. Okay. So you might think that you are not that familiar or with the command line or you don't want to use that. Are there any graphical tools to do this? Yes, there are. I had a look at the Visual Studio Code, and to do interactive rebasing, you will need the Git Lens plugin. I had a look at that and I wasn't really convinced with this implementation. First of all, you have to start it by entering the command git rebase interactive head tilde whatever you want to do in the command line. So you have a graphical tool which you have to start by entering a command, which is, I think, a bit stupid. And then from a user interface point of view, you just have a little bit of eye candy. Instead of entering letters, you have drop-down menus and you can do a drag and drop instead of copy or cut and paste. So I really wasn't that convinced. Then I had a look at the IntelliJ IDE, and that is actually quite nice. So we will have a look at this. So let's start with a clean project. So I will remove a temp and then I will open that again. So let's copy that and I have to open a new git k view. So git k and we want to see all the branches. Okay, so that's where we were before. And now let's see how IntelliJ does this. And I will use the PHP flavor of IntelliJ, which is PHP Storm, but it doesn't matter if you're using PyCharm or IntelliJ or whatever, they all have the same implementation of Git. Okay, so I open already the project and let's have a view on the, it is still working. Okay, so let's see, let's compare this with our git k view. So you can see it is more or less the same. The only difference is, and I think that's a little bit nicer, I fixed this bug not directly after this commit, but somewhere in between. So you can see that the timeline is correct here. And in git k, the logic is okay. So the logical view of this is okay, but I like the view in IntelliJ a little bit better. Okay, so let's get to it. First of all, we want to rebase this to the main branch. So let's see, yeah, we are in feature 6. So I will do a git rebase, and of course we want to rebase main. And then we say do. And then of course it has a merge conflict. So let's have a look at that. Here on the left, we can see the change in our feature branch. On the right, we can see it on our main branch. So let's take that one. And then I just say apply, and then I have to mark changes as resolved. And we're done with that. So that's our main branch, that's our feature branch, and it just looks like it branched off from there. Okay. Now let's clean this mess up. So what we're going to do is an interactive rebase from here. So this is a little bit better than with the Git Lens plugin. I can here just click on the history and say what I want to do. So let's do a interactive rebase here. As you can see, the order of these commits is the same as we had it in the command line. So this is the oldest one, this is the latest one. So we're not going to touch this one, but we're going to clean up a little bit. So of course we have drag and drop, so I will move that one to here. And then I will say for the tests, let's do a fix up and a fix up and a fix up. And let's change a little bit of text here. We could do that on the command line, of course, as well, but just for the sake of exercise. And now I will do here a squash, and here as well, and here as well. And you can see it gives me all the commit messages here as it did on the command line. So let's remove those. And let's change the text. So implemented feature number 6. This is how we want it to look like. We will say start rebasing, and it does. And give it a little bit of time. And now we're done. So now we can see, okay, we only have 2 commits left. Nice. So let's merge this into our main branch. So you can say check out main. And now I can say git, where is it there, git, and we will do a merge of the feature 6 branch. And then it did that, and now we can do a delete of that branch. And now we have the same view as we had in gitk. So let's see what gitk makes of that. And that's exactly the same as we had it after our graphical mode, after our command line mode. Very nice. So we did it now in 2 ways to clean this up, but there is in fact a third way we can do this in. So let's clean up our environment, and I will then explain how we can do this. So remove the temp directory, and let's copy that again and move into temp. And we will of course open a gitk again. Where is it? There it is. Okay, so same as before. But before I will show you the new way, we do have to rebase this bug fix. So let's quickly do that. Git rebase from main. Then we still have our conflict. We will do a little bit different than before. We will check out the file as it was in the main branch. So let's take ours. Beware when you're using ours and theirs, they are opposite when using rebase or when using merge. There is a logic to that, but it is, at least to me, not very logical. It is a bit confusing, so beware what you're doing. I know here that ours is the right one. And now we have to do the same thing as before. So we have to add it to the index, and then we have to continue rebasing. So git rebase continue. Okay, and let's do a refresh here. And as you can see, that is exactly the same as we had it before. Okay, so the way I'm going to show you is not using rebase, but using reset. And with reset, you can move the pointer of your branch, so the head pointer, to wherever you want to move it. And what we're going to do here, we're going to move this pointer of our feature branch to this version of our files, and at the same time keeping the changed files. So let's do that. We can do a git reset, and we will reset it to the head of main. And when we have reset, we can use 3 different flavors. We can use --hard, which means move this pointer to there and get rid of all the changes we did to files. This is obviously not what we want. Then, as there is a hard, there is of course also a soft, and that does exactly the same. It moves the head to there, but it keeps all the file changes, and it already puts those in our staging area, so to our index. And in this case, this is also not what we want, so we will use a reset without any additional parameters. And let's see what happened. So our feature 6 head now points to this commit, and we have local uncommitted changes. As you can see here, we have the implementation and the test file changed as they were here. So the content is as it is here, just our git points to that one. So now we can create new commits in any way we want. So we can say git add, let's start with the implementation, and then git commit the implemented feature 6, and create another one, git add the tests, git commit added tests for feature 6. And refresh here, and as you can see, we have created 2 new commits, and this is exactly as we had it before. So when can we use reset instead of rebase? Well, that is quite simple. When you're using reset, you can only do that when you have changes to one file in a commit and no other commits changing this file or multiple files. So as we have it here, we have commits changing some files, and then we have other commits changing other files. Then this is a very good way to do. If you have several commits changing the same file, this will not work. Then you will have to use the interactive rebasing. So let's finish this up. We will check out the main branch again. And in this case, we will use rebase instead of merge. Let's see if I am right, and this does exactly the same. So let's rebase feature 6, refresh, and as you can see, it did exactly the same. And now we will just delete the feature 6 branch. So git branch delete feature 6. And now we do a reload here, and as you can see, this is exactly the same. So we can use interactive rebase to clean up our history in a branch where no one else is working on. We can reorder, we can merge them, we can even edit the commits, and it looks like we added then the history, but in fact rebase creates new commits. And that is also the reason why we have to be on a branch where no one else is working. And there is a second way of doing this. You can use reset when one commit only takes a certain set of files and other commits take different ones. And there might even be situations where you have to combine those. So let's, for example, use rebase on the first 4 commits, then use a reset on the next 10, and then use a rebase to do the final 3, for example. There might be situations where reset is actually better when you do a lot of changes to the same file. For example, you are trying to get your CI up and running, and you just have to commit lots of small changes to the same settings, for example, then reset might even be the better way versus rebase. Of course, interactive rebase can do the same, but reset might be a little bit easier here. Okay, that's it for today. I hope you learned a little bit and have a lot of fun doing those exercises. Bye.